All right, diving into this classic success through a positive mental attitude.
Yeah.
Really curious to see how this book, which has influenced so many, tackles the idea of success. Seems like it's all about applying specific principles rather than relying on some elusive secret formula.
Yeah.
What do you think?
It's fascinating how this book, despite being written decades ago, still resonates with people today. You know, figures like Robert Schuller and Paul J. Meyer swear by his principles.
Wow.
It really emphasizes that our mindset plays a huge role in shaping our outcomes.
Right.
Which is something we often overlook.
It's easy to get caught up in the hustle and forget about the power of our thoughts, isn't it?
It is.
The book jumps right in with this idea of a positive mental attitude, or PMA, acting like an invisible talisman.
Oh, yeah.
It even talks about, flip side, the negative mental attitude, or NMA.
Right.
I'm guessing one attracts success while the other repels it.
You got it.
Okay.
The book dives into this concept using some really interesting stories. Take Henry Ford, for example. Imagine the audacity to dream of building a V8 engine when everyone is telling you it's impossible.
That's a great example.
Yeah.
It makes you wonder, did he succeed because he was just stubborn, or was there something more to his unwavering belief?
Right.
I mean, he kept his team going despite the doubts and ultimately revolutionized the car industry with the Ford V8.
It really makes you think about the power of conviction, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does.
Contrast that with the story of John P. Greer, the champion racehorse.
Yeah.
One defeat, and his winning attitude vanished.
Wow.
He went from a star to practically a has-been.
It's almost heartbreaking how a shift in mindset can have such a drastic impact.
It is.
It makes you realize that PMA isn't just some fluffy feel-good concept. It has real-world implications.
Absolutely. And this brings us to another crucial point the book makes.
Okay.
The importance of definiteness of purpose.
Right.
It's not enough to just wish for things.
Right.
You need a clear goal and a solid plan to get there. It's like having a roadmap versus wandering aimlessly.
That makes total sense.
Yeah.
And the book uses Robert Christopher's story to illustrate this, right?
That's the one.
The guy who traveled the world on a shoestring budget of just $80.
I mean, think about it. $80 for a trip around the world.
Wow.
That seems impossible.
Yeah.
But what's remarkable is how he approached it.
Right.
He didn't just daydream about traveling. He meticulously planned every step.
Yeah.
He got Siemens papers, researched visa requirements, even convinced a freight airline to fly him across the Atlantic in exchange for photographs.
Wow. Talk about resourcefulness.
Right.
He clearly knew what he wanted and figured out how to make it happen. That's definiteness of purpose in action, wouldn't you say?
Exactly.
Okay.
His story really highlights how crucial it is to break down your goals into achievable steps.
Yeah.
It makes you wonder, do your own goals have that level of clarity? Do you have a clear path to reach them?
Those are some great questions for our listeners to consider. Now things get really intriguing when the book delves into the power of the subconscious mind.
Oh, yeah.
This is where the concept of conscious autosuggestion comes in,
Right.
which was pioneered by Emile Coué. We've all probably heard about the power of positive affirmations,
Yeah.
but how much control do we really have over our subconscious?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it?
Yeah.
The book uses some pretty amazing stories to illustrate this idea.
Okay.
One that really stands out is Ralph Wepner's experience.
Okay.
He was in a coma, completely unresponsive for hours.
Oh, wow.
But get this, he could still hear the nurses talking.
Wait, so even in a coma, his mind was still active?
Yeah.
That's incredible.
He started repeating to himself, "You can do it if you believe you can." And believe it or not, he eventually regained consciousness.
That's mind-blowing.
Right.
It really underscores the idea that our minds have incredible potential even when we're not fully aware of it.
Exactly.
Wow.
It really makes you wonder about the possibilities.
It does.
And this leads into another key concept, overcoming obstacles.
Okay.
The book suggests that every adversity actually contains the seed of an equivalent or greater benefit.
Oh,
It sounds counterintuitive.
it does.
But then again, so did a V8 engine back then.
It's like that saying, what doesn't kill you makes you stronger.
Right.
But the book takes it a step further by suggesting that we can actually find opportunities within challenges.
Think of Tom Dempsey, born with a partially developed foot and missing fingers.
Right.
Many would consider that a huge limitation. But he defied all odds and became a successful NFL kicker.
Wow.
His story is proof that we can overcome even seemingly insurmountable obstacles with the right mindset.
It's a powerful reminder that our limitations are often self-imposed, aren't they?
They are.
We may think something is impossible, but maybe it's our mindset that's holding us back.
That's a great point.
Yeah.
And this links back to what we were discussing earlier about finding meaning in your current situation.
Right.
Even if you're not living your dream life right now, can you view your current job, for example, as a stepping stone toward a larger goal?
That's an interesting perspective. It's
Yeah.
like shifting your focus from I'm stuck here to how can I use this to get where I want to be?
Precisely.
Okay.
It's all about reframing your situation and finding the opportunity within it.
I love that.
Yeah.
Now, the book also dives into the nitty-gritty of motivation and action, highlighting 10 basic motives that drive our thoughts and actions.
Right.
It seems like understanding these can be really helpful for both self-motivation and even motivating others.
Yeah.
It's not just about willpower, it's about tapping into these deeper desires.
Right. It gets into things like self-preservation, love, fear, the desire for freedom, and even the longing for life after death.
Wow.
It's about recognizing what truly drives us.
And the book provides some interesting examples of how a positive mental attitude can help us navigate challenging situations.
Yeah.
I'm thinking of the story about the Sioux Center sales call.
Yeah.
The salesman was convinced he couldn't sell to the Holland Dutch folks because they were too clannish.
Yes. But one of the authors, brimming with PMA, went there himself and ended up selling insurance to almost everyone he met.
Oh, wow.
It really challenges our preconceived notions.
Right.
And demonstrates that with the right attitude, we can break through those barriers.
It's like sometimes our biggest obstacles are the ones we create in our own minds.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Now, I'm sure a topic that's on everyone's mind is wealth.
Of course.
The book dedicates a section to unlocking the citadel of wealth.
Mm-hmm.
And while it acknowledges that there's no magic formula for getting rich quick,
Right.
it dives into some key principles that can pave the way.
It highlights the story of George Williams, who transformed his failing laundry business by making a simple but effective improvement. He noticed shirts were getting damaged during the wash, so he started using cardboard inserts to protect them.
Right.
A seemingly small change, but it made a huge difference.
And it emphasizes that sometimes the simplest solutions are the most effective.
Yeah.
It also delves into the concept of OPM, other people's money,
Okay.
and how utilizing credit wisely can be a powerful tool for wealth creation. Of course, it cautions against abusing credit that can be detrimental in the long run.
It's a reminder that even with finances, mindset matters.
Yeah.
Being responsible and having a clear plan is crucial.
Right.
So we've covered a lot of ground already, from
Yeah.
the power of PMA and definiteness of purpose to the incredible potential of the subconscious mind overcoming obstacles and even dipping our toes into the citadel of wealth.
That's right.
Where do we go from here?
Well, this is just the tip of the iceberg.
Okay.
We've only just begun to explore the wealth of knowledge packed into success through a positive mental attitude. There's so much more to uncover, from the concept of a magnificent obsession to tapping into our hidden potential.
Right.
We'll dive into all that and more in the next part of our deep dive.
Okay, sounds good.
You know, it's interesting how the book ties financial success back to the idea of finding satisfaction in your work.
Right.
But it doesn't stop there.
Okay.
It takes this concept a step further with the idea of a magnificent obsession.
Okay, now you've got my attention.
Yeah.
A magnificent obsession. It sounds intense.
It does.
Is it like having a passion project? Or is it something more than that?
It's definitely more than just a hobby.
Okay.
It's about having a driving force, a purpose that goes beyond personal gain. Think of it as finding a cause or mission that truly lights you up, something bigger than yourself.
I'm starting to see where the magnificent part comes in.
Right.
The book probably uses some compelling examples to illustrate this concept, right?
Absolutely. It shares stories of people who were driven by something greater than themselves.
Okay.
Take Orson Swett Martin, for instance.
Okay.
He lost everything in the Great Chicago Fire, but refused to give up on his dream of publishing his book, Pushing to the Front.
Wow, to have that level of commitment in the face of such adversity, it makes you wonder what fueled his determination.
Right.
Was it purely a belief in his book, or was it something deeper?
It seems like he had this unshakable belief in his mission, this inner drive that pushed him forward, even when everything seemed lost.
Wow.
His story makes me think about the power of finding a purpose that resonates with you on a deeper level.
Yeah.
Is there something you feel that strongly about? A cause or purpose you're drawn to?
That's a powerful question to consider.
Yeah.
It definitely makes you reflect on what truly matters to you. Now, the book also touches on the idea of tapping into our hidden potential.
Right.
It suggests we all have more to give than we realize, both physically and mentally.
Yeah.
Do you think this is something we can consciously develop, or is it more about unlocking what's already there?
That's a great question.
Yeah.
The book leans towards the idea that we have this untapped potential within us just waiting to be unleashed.
Oh.
One example that really highlights this is the story of Dawn Fraser, the Australian swimmer.
Okay.
She used the power of visualization to shatter a world record.
I'm always fascinated by stories like that. It's like
Yeah.
the mind has a power we often underestimate.
Mm-hmm.
What was her approach to visualization? Was it just positive thinking, or did it involve specific techniques?
She visualized herself breaking the record over and over again with incredible detail.
Oh, wow.
It was almost as if she was rehearsing the victory in her mind.
Okay.
And when the moment came, she swam with a power and determination she hadn't tapped into before.
That's incredible. It makes you wonder, if she hadn't visualized so vividly, would she have achieved that breakthrough?
It's hard to say for sure, but the book certainly argues that our mental state plays a huge role in our physical performance.
Right.
And it goes beyond just athletic feats.
Okay.
It emphasizes maintaining a high energy level through physical exercise, mental stimulation, and a healthy lifestyle.
It's all connected, isn't it?
It hits.
Our physical and mental well-being are intertwined.
Yeah.
Now, the book also delves into topics that can be a bit uncomfortable.
Oh,
Guilt.
okay.
It suggests that guilt feelings, while often viewed as negative, can actually be a catalyst for positive change.
Right.
How does it approach this idea?
It acknowledges that guilt can be a powerful emotion,
Mm-hmm.
but instead of dwelling on past mistakes, it encourages us to confront those feelings head on and take action to neutralize them.
Okay.
The book shares the story of Jim Vowis, who had a past filled with crime and deception.
I remember reading about him.
Yeah.
He was involved in some pretty shady dealings, wasn't he?
Yes, wiretapping and other illegal activities.
Wow.
But he eventually reached a turning point.
Okay.
He was overwhelmed with guilt and decided to completely change his life.
Mm-hmm.
He turned to his faith and dedicated himself to making amends for his past.
It's an incredible story of redemption.
It is.
It shows that it's never too late to turn things around.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And the book emphasizes that we all have the power to choose how we respond to guilt.
Right.
We can let it consume us, or we can use it as fuel for positive action.
That's a powerful message.
Yeah.
It's about taking responsibility for our past and using it as motivation to create a better future.
Right.
So we've covered a lot of ground, from PMA and definiteness of purpose
Right.
to the incredible potential of the subconscious mind overcoming obstacles, and even exploring the concept of a magnificent obsession.
We've also delved into the transformative power of confronting our guilt and the importance of finding meaning in our current situation, even if it's not ideal.
Right.
But there's still more to uncover.
Okay.
This deep dive into success through a positive mental attitude isn't over yet.
It's amazing how success through a positive mental attitude seamlessly weaves together these seemingly disparate concepts, from wealth creation to finding your purpose.
It is.
It's not just about positive thinking.
Huh.
It's about applying practical principles to all aspects of life. Does the book offer any tools or exercises
It does.
to help readers put these ideas into practice?
One of the most helpful tools it provides is the success quotient analysis.
Okay.
It's essentially a self-assessment that helps you evaluate where you stand in relation to those 17 success principles we've been discussing.
So it's like a personalized checklist to pinpoint your strengths and areas for improvement.
Exactly.
Okay, that's really helpful.
Yeah.
It covers things like definiteness of purpose, going the extra mile, accurate thinking, and self-discipline, right?
Exactly.
Okay.
It's a great way to gain self-awareness and identify specific areas where you can focus your efforts.
Right.
Because even if you've been consciously working on these principles,
Yeah,
there's always room for growth, wouldn't you say?
absolutely. It's a continuous journey, isn't it?
It is.
And speaking of continuous learning, the book emphasizes the importance of having a good bibliography.
Right.
It's not just about reading any book. It's about seeking out those that can inspire and motivate you on your path to success.
It's like having a curated library of resources tailored to your personal growth.
Yeah.
And the book doesn't disappoint.
Look.
It includes a comprehensive list of recommended readings,
Oh, wow.
covering a wide range of topics from finance and personal development to philosophy and biographies of successful individuals.
It's like a treasure map leading to a wealth of knowledge.
It is.
I love that it encourages readers to go beyond the book itself and continue exploring these ideas.
Yeah, it speaks to the idea that learning is a lifelong endeavor.
Right.
There's always more to discover, more to learn, more to apply.
So as we wrap up this deep dive into success through a positive mental attitude,
Yeah.
what's the key takeaway for our listeners? What's the one thing you hope they'll remember?
I think the core message is that success isn't some mystical force reserved for a select few.
Right.
It's about understanding and applying certain principles,
Yeah.
cultivating a positive mindset, and taking consistent action. It's about recognizing that we all have the potential to achieve great things.
Yeah.
But it starts with our attitude and our willingness to put in the effort.
It's a powerful reminder that we have more control over our outcomes than we often realize.
Yeah.
It's not about luck or circumstance. It's about taking ownership of our lives and creating the success we desire.
Absolutely.
As the book says, what the mind of man can conceive and believe the mind of man can achieve with PMA.
Love it.
But here's a final thought to ponder. If PMA is so powerful, why don't more people embrace it? What are the barriers that prevent us from tapping into this incredible resource within ourselves?
That's a good question.
That's a really intriguing question, something to reflect on for sure.
Yeah.
This has been an incredible exploration of success through a positive mental attitude.
It has.
It's a timeless classic. For a reason, its principles are just as relevant today as they were decades ago.
Absolutely.
So to our listeners, I encourage you to take these principles, apply them to your own lives, and see what amazing things you can accomplish. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive.